Alright, it's very difficult to keep these tutorials at under 10 minutes because I tend to ramble a lot. Sorry, Polish people can't shut up whenever we start talking. This is going to be hopefully a very quick tutorial on how to do your own textures. Well, you'll see what I mean. This may also turn into a short Photoshop tutorial. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a wing texture and a fuselage texture for my aircraft. Here's a little tool that I found very handy. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of all the linking. I selected everything and I link this far away so nothing is now linked. Okay, press the Alt Z for undo, always handy. Group the fuselage, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up 10 Bryce units up in the Y direction. I'm going to move it up. 10 is the easiest least common number that I use whenever I move my objects around, because I can always move it 10 back to put it in the right position. I'm going to select the fuselage. I'm going to change it to a view where I see the side. I'm going to use this hand icon down here to just move it about in the center of the screen. I'm going to render it. Okay, that's good, but it's not very useful for me at the moment. Just going to click the screen to stop the render. I'm going to go over here to this little caret down here, Control Render Options. It's just right to the right, derecha in Spanish, of the big fat render button. Click it. Click the Object Mask. Guess what happens when I render now? Oh, look, it's miraculous. I'm going to go back to Render Options. I'm going to change the quality to default because I just want a nice, crisp, un-anti-aliased view of it. Alright, now I have almost there. I'm going to have a side profile of the fuselage that I'm going to work with. And lots of empty space. Go up here to the File menu, Export Image. I've got a whole directory waiting for this template, fuselage. Alright, just exported a very large BMP file, and I'm going to stick it in my Photoshop. Template stuff, template fuselage. Alright, here it is. It's going to be also a short Photoshop tutorial. Got a new layer. I'm just going to do something really just ridiculous. I'm going to put a random insignia on here. Flight sim. It always helps to have a very large library of textures and whatever. I know, let's make this an Egyptian fighter. Select all, it's a new unit. Put that little thing right there. Change this. I'm going to make the tail, hold on, I can make another layer. I'm going to make the tail orange, not for any real reason other than to tell what's front and what's back. It's okay, you can go over the lines because I'm using a different layer. That's not good. Continuous. Okay, and then I want to make the nose green. Remember, I'm doing this very quickly, very sloppily. This is only so that you can see the front and back. What's front, what's back. This will all be very plain in just a few moments. And then I'm just for kicks, I'm gonna make the body purple. No, that's bad because that's the background color. I'm gonna stay away from blue or light blue because those are gonna be sieve colors. I'm gonna make the body of this yellow. Paint bucket, drop it down. Okay, I'm going to select my little magic wand. I'm going to select the fuselage. I'm going to go up here to crop it. Yeah, it's alright if I overlapped everything, but that doesn't matter much. I'm going to save the file. Head back to Bryce. Okay, now I'm going to shut off this object mask. Back to normal. Right, go back to director's view. Now I'm going to go to Edit Materials. Click here into this A column for both diffuse and ambient. Diffuse is of course your color, ambient is your shadow color. What color is it in the shadows? I like to have it the same as you can see right here. Ambience, usually I have about 25 or less. I'm going to change to 10, make it a little bit dark. Specularity means how much it shines. Metallicity, you know, metallic qualities. It cuts down, it blurs, it mutes the specularity quality. Reflection, keep that to 0 because I found out that with my blue sky and any kind of reflective value, it plays havoc with palettes at the very end. So with like mirrored colors, I start to having sieve color where it's not supposed to be. And I'm going to go over here to image texture. Change back and forth, procedural texture, image texture, procedural image. I want image so I can import my texture that I just made. Template stuff, template fuselage. Recognize this? Alright, parametric. This is that whole wrapping a texture around a complex object. Stay away from this as much as possible if you are just starting out on making your own textures. What I do in these situations is I go to object front or usually object side. It's hard to see on this ball, but let's see what happens here. Alright. And very bad. If you remember, I made the tail orange and the nose green. This is very bad. Let's see if we can fix this. Right now it's at object side. I'm going to change to object front. Let's see what happens when I do that. Alright, this is slightly better, but it's still kind of backwards. Let's see what happens when I change to object top. This isn't exactly a problem with the texture, it's a problem with the model, because originally it's actually pointing in the wrong direction. It probably was imported facing upwards. Let's see what this looks like at the moment. Object top, and it's completely messed up. Maybe I can fix this by going back to Photoshop and just rotating the image. Let's see what happens. I now just rotated just a little bit. Let's see what happens. Remember to always, whenever you change an image, save it, but you gotta load it back up again in here so the program knows what to do. Changed. I know I'm going a bit fast, but hopefully I won't run out. That's almost good enough, but not quite. It's still an object top. Let's see if I change it to object side. Still 0, 0. Okay, this is almost right, but it's backwards. As you can see, this is where the jet engine is supposed to be. Yellow body, green nose. What I have to do at this moment, I can change this to actual selection, but it's very hard to see because it's just so small. Change it back to this. I'm going to flip it around 180 degrees in the Y direction, right here in this middle part. You know, let's see what happens. And that looks pretty bad. It's not supposed to happen. I'm going to try a different way. I'm going to try 180 degrees in the X direction. Try to flip it around. Uh-oh, that's not good. I didn't do anything. Let's see if this did the trick. And it did. Sometimes you just got to work at it within Bryce. Sometimes you have to work on it within Photoshop to switch around a thing. Okay, this is actually two objects. I grouped it. Let's see if it translated well on the other side. And it actually did. I know this is a very simple way of doing things, but hopefully you learned a little bit by just this small example of how to just apply very, very simple textures that you created in Photoshop or MS Paint or CorelDRAW or GIMP or whatever, and apply it within Bryce.